Claude just released a reasoning mode that makes response speed completely irrelevant, and that terrifies every AI company betting on being faster. For the last 2 years, the AI arms race has been about one thing. Who can answer your question quickest? ChatGPT gets faster. Gemini gets faster. Everyone optimizes for latency. But Anthropic just flipped the entire game board. Their new reasoning mode, available now in Claude, doesn't care about speed. It cares about depth. And here's what makes it so dangerous to competitors. When the output quality becomes dramatically better, nobody actually wants the fast answer anymore. Let me explain what this mode actually does, because the technical details are where the real story lives. Normally, when you ask an AI a question, it thinks through the answer in real time while you watch the token stream in. It's fast, but it's also shallow. The model is essentially generating its first instinct. With reasoning mode, Claude takes that question and works through it privately, behind the scenes. You don't see the thinking, but it's extensive. We're talking about the model spending real compute cycles, sometimes significant ones, to actually reason through a problem before it gives you an answer. The result is genuinely different. When I tested it on complex logic problems, coding bugs, and abstract reasoning tasks, the quality jump wasn't marginal. It was the difference between a model that gets the answer wrong and a model that actually solves it. On some benchmarks Anthropic released, reasoning mode pushes Claude's accuracy on hard tasks from like 50% to 90%. That's not a speed improvement. That's a capability jump. And here's why that matters so much. Speed was the one thing competitors could copy. OpenAI can make their models faster. Google can optimize inference. But you can't fake better reasoning. You can't shortcut real thinking. If Claude's reasoning mode actually produces better answers, the only way to compete is to build your own reasoning system. That takes time. That takes research. That takes iteration. So why does this terrify competitors? Because for 2 years, the narrative has been bigger, faster, more tokens per second. That's a game where incremental improvements matter and speed is currency. But the moment the game shifts to better answers, even if they take 3 seconds instead of 1, all those speed optimizations become less relevant. Users will wait 3 seconds for a correct answer. They won't wait 1 second for a wrong one. This is actually a shift in how AI companies think about their product. For a long time, the assumption was that users want instant answers. But that's only true if the instant answer is good. If you're using Claude to debug production code or write a legal contract or solve a research problem, you do not care if it takes 3 seconds or 10 seconds. You care if it's right. And reasoning mode is explicitly designed to sacrifice speed for correctness. Now, there are limitations. Reasoning mode is slower. We're talking maybe 2 to 4 times slower depending on the problem. It costs more to run. And it's only available in their pro tier right now, which is a smart move because it limits compute costs while they figure out the economics. But none of that changes the core dynamic. The AI company that produces the most reliable answers wins. Speed becomes a secondary concern. There's also a second layer to this that's worth thinking about. Reasoning mode is kind of a peek behind the curtain of how these models actually work. It's showing us that the difference between a fast answer and a good answer is literally the amount of thinking time you give the model. More compute cycles, more internal reasoning steps, better output. That's not magic. That's just math. And once you know that, you can't unsee it. The other AI companies know this too. They're already working on their own versions. OpenAI has been researching chain-of-thought reasoning for years. Google has similar projects. But Anthropic shipped it first, and in AI, shipping first matters because you get real-world data about what actually works. You get user feedback. You get benchmarks. You build the playbook. Here's the thing that really gets interesting, though. This reasoning mode is going to change how people use AI for serious work. Right now, a lot of professionals treat AI as a first draft tool. You ask it something, you get an answer, you verify it yourself because you don't fully trust it. But if reasoning mode produces answers that are reliable enough to use directly, that changes the calculus. You're not just saving time on writing. You're replacing entire workflows. You're replacing junior analysts, code review processes, even some research tasks. That's the real threat. It's not about speed. It's about capability. And capability is what actually drives adoption in professional settings. A doctor doesn't care if a diagnostic tool is fast if it's wrong. They care if it's accurate. A lawyer doesn't care about latency if the contract analysis is incomplete. They care about reliability. And if Claude's reasoning mode delivers on reliability, it becomes the default choice for serious work. The speed arms race is over. We're moving into the reliability era, and that's a completely different competition. If you want to stay ahead of these shifts, because this won't be the last time the AI game changes, subscribe. I break down what's actually happening in AI every few days, not the hype version, the real version. And right now, the real version is more interesting than anything in the headlines.